Greetings, community. It's me, Kevin of Entropy and Comics, and it's unboxing time. I finally got my pre-order in. I've changed my dates in which that I'm going to be receiving my pre-order, and now's that time. So I ended up receiving this box. Oddly enough, they stated that it would end up coming on initially Wednesday, and then they rescheduled it for Saturday, rescheduled it for Monday, realized it was a holiday, rescheduled it for Tuesday, and it arrived Monday morning. So, being that it did so, and here we are, I say that it's probably best, now that I turn off my audio here on my phone, let me get right to it. So, hey, join me as we go ahead and go over, and it's not going to be nearly as many as I normally get this time around, my pre-order. And I think we're ready to go. Here we go. So I'm going to start it off with the RIs that I end up getting. So starting with, as you know, I'm a huge Kanto fan. Kanto's basically has one more true volume left before it ends. This was the full envisionment of the story, even though it wasn't originally anticipated to be able to be told all the way through. I, like most that are reading this, are super grateful that Drew and David had the opportunity to be able to tell this tale in its full and entirety. And this is not a tale that most people tell in a story, along with the way they tell it in a sense of it's all ages. So I highly recommend this book. This is something that I've loved since day one. My son and I fell in love with this book when we first were introduced to the storyline, and then when we met the creator, David, and did interviews, multiple, with both Drew and David. Yeah, this was something that we were all in all the way through. Moving on, Sea of Sorrows. There's another RI. This is number 5. This is the last of the whole series. Doug, I mean, Dweck and Cormac on this project, along with Road of Bones, really exemplify some of the reasons why most of us really fall in love with this hobby, because these are stories that are usually told in thick novels, you know, and we're just left up to our own accord to kind of imagine what the artists and or creators were trying to do in the story, and being able to show in an art form and then be able to tell it allows both sides, both the artistic of the formatting, meaning drawing things out, and the linguistic aspect, meaning no, they're not speaking, but they're actually telling, and in a literature form, captures the real feel of what is being trying to be delivered in this story. So Sea of Sorrows, 5 of 5. That's it, the RI, and damn, is it good as far as an overall story. Now, I'm not a My Little Ponies person, and I'm not necessarily a Transformers person. At the same point, the combo is something that I've done from the first actual time they did this. So this is the second series of this, and this is issue number 2. I had to put it in a Comic Clear board. Comic Clear, declare choice. Just not only because this is a killer RI, but I mean the chibi back, and I'm a huge Usagi Yojimbo fan. So yeah, this is a great tale. This is another one of those all ages, and you cannot read that thing without leaving with a smile. So My Little Ponies, number 2, highly recommend it for those of you that are into My Little Ponies or Transformers or A Happy Tale. So here we go. All right. Yes. Great. Now I did get some of these signed, not these right here, but I ended up getting some signed, and this whole future state is developing really well. I was a little skeptical, like most, on how this was going to transpire as a story, how this was going to be done as far as trying to rework the whole universe thing, and this is cool. This stuff is cool. 3A's, 1B. Here we go, all the way. Well, not all the way with 3A's, but you know what I'm saying. Now, if people both love and hate on this book, I think it's all right. You know, the whole giving a different look from the commissioner and this, it's just another way of looking at a Joker tale, you know, and I like the whole perspective change. Latest star. Now, this is Ram V is doing a great job. Really, what took me back when I was started to read this was that it ended up starting off in this very Eastern flavor. And I like that. The idea that one, in a predominantly Western, you know, Marvel, DC, in case this boom, where they're located, not too far from where I live. You know, a lot of people stereotypically would be, you know, expecting a real Western start, and this does not go there at all. And then all the things that it touches are very Eastern, and it's stuff that I'm into in the sense of, you know, that I'm hoping they get really heavily into Buddhism and stuff like that. I'm curious to see how this transpires. It's fun tale. It's great. Ramvy's doing a great job on this thing, and I am definitely in all the way through. Geiger. I've been a Geiger fan from when I first was introduced to the story. Shit, beginning of the year. I think actually towards the end of the year, when I was first privy to some of the information that was going on with it. And I can't help but loving all these. I mean, seriously, this is one cool cover. Not just the artistic value, but that it ties into the actual storyline and everything. It's so cool. It's a great story. Snyder's doing a great job. Wait, sorry. Jeff John's doing a great thing. Snyder's on the Nocturna thing. That's another one I'm loving. Yeah, Jeff John's doing a great, and Gary Frank on this together. They're both being able to deliver what I think each other is trying to do to convey the story. And I believe they're doing it really well. I'm an old man. I'm into the whole Godzilla thing. I believe we were doing A and Bs. Yeah. All the way through. This cover from 1963, right? I'm without my glasses, but I'm going to say it's, that might say 61. Shit. It is really cool because it does take it right from the movie. 61. Wow. That's so awesome. So I'm reading this, and yeah, what I really like about this story is it's being told from a kid's perspective. And when it starts off with the kid saying, hey, look, you know, I basically saved the planet. That was so cool. Oh, yeah, maybe Godzilla helped too. Now, Money Shot is something that I started. I just actually put number 1 into a nice My Light. When I was checking this out, Seeley, right? Yeah, and Beatty. When I was checking this out before it dropped, I was hoping it would be what it is. I was hoping they were going to utilize the whole sex thing, the whole lure thing, to actually tell a deeper tale. It's easy to throw sex and violence and all that stuff out there, and people just go, hey, it's cool. But to tie it into a real story and to make it something more than just that is the tale of a true writer. You know, and when they got up to around issue 5, you really started seeing some true depth arise out of the story. And I liked it. And I'm definitely, since it came back, I am so stoked. Lighthouse. You take pirates, you take space-time travel, wormhole, you take, you know, all that, and you mix it together, and there you go. You got a great blend of what David Hines trying to do in this story. I'm in on the Lighthouse. You know, I'm Jules Verne fan. It's loosely based on anything that I know of, but at the same point, I get what they're trying to do, and I'm in. This is the stuff my dad and I used to really enjoy talking about and reading. 7 Secrets, if I recall, yeah, number 8. And where it's going, where it took off in issue 7, it's like, holy shit, man, we're going into so many different realms and planes and stuff like that, and it's involving so much more than just our own universe, you know, if you want to call that world realm. That, yeah, now we're getting some true expansion of this place that we're talking about in this 7 Secrets universe. storyteller. Now, if you didn't read the whole first series, you might not get what's going on in this second series in the sense of the flavor. But that doesn't mean that all these books are standalone books. The whole series are standalone series. You can go and buy any one of these books at any point in this story and still enjoy it. I do recommend. Go ahead and give you both covers. You can kind of get this story is probably about the old traditional fairy tale. You can read any of these things and enjoy them all. At the same point, I do recommend to go ahead and if you can find the series. If they launch it, which I have no idea, in a trade, that'd be a great way to read this. This is a leisure read. You hang out. You don't have to be heavily involved in anything and just enjoy yourself. Black Cat, huge fan. I was lucky enough to obtain a copy of the first appearance of Black Cat at the beginning of this year. Signed, nonetheless. And yeah, my hope is that Black Cat, which they didn't get to make it last time, is they make it to 13. I want to see the 13 covers. I might actually be that sucker that ends up buying them. Same thing right here with Spider-Woman. I was fortunate enough to just, last month, buy 2 copies? I had 3 in my hand. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I had 2 copies, and I ended up purchasing both of Spider-Woman #1. Not the first appearance. So I haven't got one of those spotlights yet, but maybe down the road. Liking this story. If you again, you can see I like woman-led characters. Silk is definitely developing really well. I'm hoping that they do a tailor-made villain for her, something that would carry on for a long-lasting, ongoing series. Would be great, especially if she could jump in and out of the whole Spider-Verse thing. That suits her. So we'll see how this works out. Play with Spider-Gwen or something like that every once in a while. You Promised Me Darkness is an amazing story to me. I really, really enjoy this. This is my kind of writing, my kind of storytelling. It has adventure a little. It has a lot of great storytelling. There's definitely dialogue in there. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of feeling. The art is dark. The art definitely reflects what's going on. But there's nothing really distasteful or nasty. And what I mean by that really is that even though it's trying to make the lines, as messy as they're trying to do, you can see that they're still clean. Look at the legs. The legs they're clean. So I really like the art, and this is kind of how the art is all the way through. You get this beautiful combination of chaotic dirt nastiness, but you can tell done by an individual that's really trying to, with all their talent, try not to show their talent, because you can see clean lines, you can see a lot, and this person is just trying to mess it up as much as possible to try to give you that shadow feel, that chaotic feel of not being able to control or have any control of self, and or understanding how self is actually controlling other things, even though inadvertently you don't believe that you are, or knowing that you are. It's in the story. Read it. Here we go. Old Guard. I didn't realize when I was buying this that this tied into the original old series. Now, this is also a standalone series, and I wanted to get out of it. I was trying to go into it by reading it by page 3. I was trying not to enjoy this, thinking, hey, maybe this is something I can eliminate. This ties into a story that I don't know. This ties into people that I have no involvement with. By the time I got to page, 7 or 8, it's like, damn it. Here's another one I thoroughly am enjoying. Robin, speaking of thoroughly enjoying, this is a story that's killer. If you read issue 1 and went, wait, how could this be having more issues after what had happened after the, second to the last page of issue 1? What the hell? Well, you end up finding out in issue 2 that, this is the makeup of the island and this is how things work out. And kind of also you get an understanding of some of the advantages of individuals how. So yeah, it was really interesting after issue 1, and I'm dying to see what happens in issue 2. I only got to read this a little bit stuff. Here we go. So we went through all the turtles, Splinter and Casey Jones is coming out last, and then that completes the whole set. If I recall, this actually had a little bit of, Splinter damage on Splinter. On like 4 or 5 of the pages. It is what it is. We get to still enjoy it, still read it. Didn't affect any of the pages as far as being able to read. There we go. Speaking of coming back, glad to see Philadelphia come back. This was another one. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Appreciate you being here. You're about halfway through my box. This is not a very large box this time, but this is Philadelphia. Been a huge fan ever since day one. I was fortunate enough, along with Kai, to be able to meet up with Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander when soon after the launch of this, and got a bunch of copies of issue number 1 signed. And Kai actually got a sketch on his Spawn 301 from Jason, and so that was a great experience for both of us. Baby Cerebus, gotta love this one. Speaking of Jason and work that he's done, this kind of ties in loosely. Spawn. So I was talking about Spawn 301. This goes ahead and this launches the whole new universe that's happening now. 319 will open it up, and then along with the whole, launch in July, that will end up starting off with the whole new Spawn universe. So I got that one and that one also. And of this one, I did get the 1 in 5. So it's only right? Because I got 5 books. I ended up getting that from my retailer. I really like this cover. That's badass. Yeah, I got to sit down with all my books. I have so much Spawn stuff. I wanted to sit down and do a binge read on it one time. Okay, so Stillwater. This was one I've been talking about for over a year now. Now, I know that people are going, but wait, it's only on issue, what is this, 7? Yeah. Yeah, I end up getting some information on this thing, and when I was hearing about what it was about, I knew that this was going to be a great read, and it is. This is slowly developing. It's a not only a fun read, which I know I'm using it redundantly, but it's beautifully written and pace, especially. It's developing this whole world really nicely. It's not rushing anything. It's not milking anything. You get enough emotional involvement with these people that you're going, hey, you know what? This is cool. Speaking of cool, Silver Coin. Now, when I was hearing about this one, this is another one that I was really, really anticipating for the reason why that I enjoy the whole idea behind the monkey paw style storytelling where, someone receives something and then now they have to deal with that curse. Same with, what is that, Fear Case? There's a couple other stories that have been told through that, like that, almost centuries. I like it when someone can take these concepts and twist them and play with them in their own way, in their own flavor. Yes, everyone's been making burgers for a long time, but when you go ahead and you take the burger and you throw it on your grill and you end up throwing on your own thing like ranch and I don't know, your own seasoned salts and all that stuff, and then you serve it, well, that's yours. I mean, yes, the concepts that have been there forever, but at the same point, it's yours. And I dig that. And that's how I'm looking at Silver Coin is it's theirs. Here's another one I've been waiting for. Yuki versus Panda. This, and I also put it, this is also another Comic Clear board. Had to be. Why? Well, I mean, look at that back. This is the reason why you buy Comic Clear boards, so you can appreciate both the front and back of your books. Back to the book. Yuki versus Panda. This is a kind of, okay, this is a very slap in your face, almost tongue-in-cheek kind of story tell of almost manga kind of way of delivering the information and story of a girl that inadvertently pisses off a panda, I believe, and then she's basically stalked from there on in. Now, she's been training, and her own stuff and been doing things because of she knows that she has to be. I don't want to run a whole lot. At the same point, just know that she's being tracked by a panda. There is some fun, stereotypical tropey style storytelling of how to train someone to be a hero and all that. And that's all the tongue-in-cheek thing that they play with, as far as they're just playing and just it's a fun read in the sense of they're playing with you as the reader, knowing that you already know some of these story types, and they want to go ahead and challenge the idea and actually, laugh at some of the ways some of these ideas have been told in the past. And I like that. It's pretty fun. They're not taking themselves too seriously, and that's the story. Did I hear any spec on that? Marvel Voices Pride 1. I haven't, Joe. On all the Pride stuff, I haven't heard any spec on any one thing yet. And that's I just haven't heard anything. That's a different one. So I'll highlight that there for anyone that wants to watch this thing on the rewind of what we're actually speaking about. And I'll show you one more book real quick, which is Beta Ray Bill. Anyone that's been reading this knows this is a great book. It is telling a story that I believe that needed to be told about Beta Ray, in the sense of it's bringing him back and it's bringing his relevance back. And I believe that they're trying to do something to bring more relevance and more face time to him in comics, to go ahead and bring him onto the big screen. So that is what my belief is happening, is go ahead and give you a little more story that, he's been absent for so long, that go ahead and, it'll wet your whistle when he comes onto the big screen. So let's get over to Miles Morales. What can I say? What can anyone say? This story of Miles is only getting better. I mean, whenever it hits a little, mini arc or whatever, and they're done, it goes off in a different direction, and it's just as good, So Miles Morales is probably one of the better Spider-Man stories. It's one of the more consistent Spider-Man stories that's being told. Space Bastards. Now, up there, as far as laughing my ass off, Space Bastards is probably right now in the top 5 of consistent laughing my ass off books. That's why I buy it. I enjoy a book like that. When you read something like, let's say, Red Room, you need to go ahead and cleanse that palate. Space Bastards. And then when you're done with something like that and you need to cleanse that palate, well, Transformers. And then when you're done and you need to cleanse that palate, but you still want to keep reading, right? Well, you go something like this, which is Iron Shadows Moon. So Sumerian, ever since it came out on the Ablaze, I've been reading it. This is what the original writer had anticipated when it came to a graphic novel version. It was never meant to be so watered down that you don't even recognize it anymore. And maybe, Joe, it's quite possible. Ultraman, if you're as old as I am, then you remember watching this as a kid. If you don't, then you're probably tripping out on how much kaiju stuff is out there lately, and it's probably something new to you. Ultraman is one of the original kaiju stories, and one of the better ones in my opinion. Not necessarily just because of how it's told and who's writing, but just because it's one of the original, and yes, because it's how it's being told and who's writing it. Hey, Mike, I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you being here, brother. And speaking of Mighty Valkyries, I've been reading Mighty Valkyries and this character since she made her appearance in the King of Black. I have a true belief that she'll make true relevance of her character as an ongoing one. And every successive issue that you see in her making herself known. And why that's important is because I believe things are happening in that whole Thor verse, in the sense of, you saw where Allfather is and where Thor is. Beta Ray comes in. All that stuff's happening. Well, Jane Foster, she's been on the sidelines too long. They got to make something relevant with her. So that means that someone that's going to have to end up taking kind of her position is the Valkyrie. Well, it makes sense, right? Stray Dogs. I've been reading this since day one. I have 3 of the original lenticulars that were store exclusives. I ended up getting them both signed by both Trish and by Tony, Mr. AMV. And yeah, Fleeks, it's just knocked this one out of the park. And he was very, very picky on who he wanted to do this job. Now, you can see that the story had to be done right to be able to give you this kind of creepiness. But at the same point, all this stuff is alluded to. It's more, you're not really seeing anything, right? So they wanted to get that Disney-esque feel at the same point, give you all that horror that's being alluded to because you're not seeing it, but they wanted all this cool feel. Well, that's where Trish came in. When Tony found her, he was adamant about having her for this project, and you can only see that it made sense and why he waited. So here's a story that everyone is pretty much reading. Haha. Now I've been doubling up on all this. I got, other than I think the pink cover of number 1, the 4 horror covers. Oh, really? Well, I mean, we'll see what happens when we get all the way through, see what I got, and I may have something signed for you down the road. Just hit me up, Joey M, and we'll talk. And then, and these. So what I've been doing as far as haha, and I think it's, yeah, so you're hearing it. Haha, cover B, issue 6, the last one. That should be a heavy one. Same thing with the that new team book that's coming out with all the monsters on it. With the, I'll try to get the information on that one coming up pretty soon too. It was that team that came out of that Hulk story. Scratch that. Moving on. Here we go. Yeah, Department of Truth. This was another one that I was huge fan from day one. You know, I knew that this was going to be a tale. I kept my ear out there, and from what, after, what was it, issue 2 dropped? Yeah, with the baby thing. I missed out on that cover. Hollywood was talking, and when they were talking, they were like, hey, we need budget. You know, when money starts coming in and we can figure out things, then we can talk. And, you know, it seems like James Tynion is always in talks with someone over in Hollywood. I have a theory of what's happening, but I'd rather not say it right here, right now, with him in Hollywood and with all his projects. But anyways, how to get a blank cover. I end up going to my shop, and I was asked about these covers, and my buddy at one of the shops says he bought one. Now, he owns a shop, and he bought one for $15. I said, really? I went to 2 other shops. Each of those shops were selling for $9.90 a piece. I was kind of tripped out because I just got lucky and, oops, bought them ahead of time. I do like the back. There's another comic clear back, and the reason why is that's the back. That's pretty fucking cool. Gotta admit, that's pretty damn cool. I think I'm on Wi-Fi. That's the problem. So yeah, I like these covers. I didn't realize how much they were going for. I got them, you know, again, this is my DCBS order, so I got them for shit, $2.39 a piece. But then again, I bought them 2.5 months ago or 2 months ago. And then the regular covers. Now this is a story I believe is going to be long lasting. Like I said, this whole Infinite Frontier and all that, it's doing well, and these stories are being done well. Check this out. I am done. It's under a half hour, and we had fun. Thank you for coming by, and I appreciate you. And that's it from me at Entropy. Until next time, we'll do this all over again. And stay well, take care, and I think I have 1 or 2 more videos dropping pretty soon. But that's it from me at Entropy. Take care, and I'll be talking to you soon.